The D-Rock. Gonna be a tough one here. I already know it. I'm gonna get through it anyway, though. All right. See what we can do. All right. All systems a go. All right. All right. All right. Good morning. This is Coach Hall with Sports for Real, and I'm doing another morning sports bite here, or AM sports bite. And what I'm chewing on today is a couple of things. First of all, you got NFL Combine taking place, and interviewed the Ravens GM, and they're concerned about what's taking place with Justin Tucker there, accurate kicker. Right now, he's considered the most accurate kicker in NFL history. But the problem he's facing now are sexual allegations dealing with massage situations, kind of like what you had with Deshaun Watson. So far, you got 16 women now coming to complain or accuse him of sexual misconduct. And the Ravens, they say that's concerning. That's what the GM said. And it has to be concerning if you got all these different women coming out and making these accusations against you. But they're in a wait and see kind of mode. They said the NFL is investigating and they're going to wait and see from that point. But right now, it doesn't look so good. But these things tend to snowball, kind of like it did with Deshaun Watson. But at the end of the day, where is he? He's still in the league. He still has the opportunity to make a lot of money. And you don't hear much talk about these allegations from him anymore. But my question again, as I talked about this a couple weeks ago, why would you even put yourself in that kind of situation, man? If I'm making millions and I got people giving me massages, especially the opposite sex, you just got to know that I'm going to have some security cameras. I'm going to have bodyguards. I'm going to have all kind of layers of protection where this kind of crap doesn't come and bite me. JC says, good morning. How you doing, man? I'm just getting started here. I got a few topics I want to go over. But Justin Tucker doesn't look good for him right now. And I don't know how many more women are going to come out against him. But like I say, he's probably going to wind up getting cut from the Ravens and until all this stuff blows over. And then he'll probably resurface a year or two later. But we'll keep a wait and see eye on that. The other thing, last night, Luka Doncic, well, let me go to that one last. Diana Taurasi, the great shooter from UConn, decided to hang it up after, 20 years in the WNBA. She's got all the records. She's the highest scorer by far. She's got over 10,000 points when the closest player behind her, Tina Charles, is almost 3,000 points behind. Of course, she played a lot longer, but still, that is an awful lot of point difference when you are the leader all-time scorer. Swiper says, hello, how you doing? But some of the highlights for her, she first came on my radar when they led those great UConn teams. They won 3 straight with her. And she got three UConn championships. She's got 3 more with the WNBA, and she's got 6 gold medals. The last one is kind of controversial to some because a lot of people think that her spot should have went to Caitlyn Clark because Caitlyn Clark's a new hot child. Everybody gives Caitlyn Clark credit for the boost in ratings for the WNBA. But I say this, the kind of fanfare that Clark has gotten should have been what Taurasi should have gotten. She's just that good. Taurasi is the kind of player that Caitlyn Clark hopes she can be. She doesn't have any championships. She just happened to come along at the right time. I think if the roles were reversed and Taurasi came around now, it would be a much bigger story. Now, part of that plays into the discord that people have with Taurasi. She came out and pretty much said that Clark can't expect to come in and dominate. It's a building process. Same thing that happened to her. She's going to have to adjust her game and go from there before she starts to take off. And I didn't have a problem with that. But all the Caitlyn Clark followers, they had real issues with what Taurasi had to say. They thought that she should have been completely positive and don't touch on anything that was could be seen as offensive to Clark. But I didn't have any problem with that. And her comments are one of the reasons why she is not as celebrated as a Caitlyn Clark. Crunchy. Question harp and for the rest of the night. Yeah, you talking crazy. All right, yip yap. Yeah, I'm yip yapping. You don't want to hear it? Go somewhere else. Where you chumps been anyway? Sometimes you guys can be very interesting early in the morning. You got nothing else to do but to play in your mother's basement and try to mess with people like me. But I'm going to make my points no matter what you think. All right, next. But yes, I think that Clark, she's going to eventually be a great player, but she's not going to ever reach the heights of Taurasi. I don't see anybody playing for as long as what she did, especially now with the money being much higher. There's really no need for it. But give her flowers. Might be considered one of the best ever did it, especially in the WNBA, but across women's basketball altogether. Been a lot of great players. Cheryl Miller, all the way back to them. They were great. And they just came along at the wrong time. Taurasi kind of came along at the wrong time. Clark's coming on at the right time. And it's up to her to carry that forward and try to get these women's basketball leagues off the ground. And I think Unrivaled is doing a pretty good job. And if the WNBA don't tighten up, most of the players are going to go over there and make more money and deal with the excitement like those one-on-one games. And I think the WNBA and maybe the NBA should try something like that themselves. But with the number of games the NBA plays, I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. And I don't think a lot of guys, they don't want to be exposed in a one-on-one matchup. But the real true competitors, they won't shy away from that. And speaking of that, just happened to catch Michael Irvin live last night. And he mentioned the fact about the little Johnny age. He didn't say little Johnny, but he's basically talking about the little Johnny age. And if you don't know what I mean by that, I'm talking about these kids now who played sports, and all they did was you might have got last place, or you ran the mile and you got beat by 3 minutes, you still get a trophy. They give a trophy to everybody, no matter what, participation. Then you come to college and you get NIL. Everything's being handed to these guys that are decent athletes. You're not really having to compete for anything. And that's going to translate to pro sports. And when it translates to pro sports, you're not going to have that real competitive spirit because you never had to develop it. And that's a great point that he made. And I thought that was interesting that he would say that. But that leads me to Luka Doncic, because that's what the subject was last night. As you know, Doncic played his first game against the Mavericks last night in LA. And everybody was expecting him to go off and hit 50. Well, on that show, while I was listening, I don't normally respond too much, but he was asking how many points you think that Doncic is going to go off for tonight. He was thinking 40 to 45. Then you turn on the commentator, Shaq, he said he should hit for 50 and stare the bench down. Well, I'm thinking all along, he's not fixing to score no 50 points. I put it in the chat comments, I say I don't think I give him 25 at the most. And sure enough, last night, he went for a triple-double. But his point line was 19 points. He had 15 rebounds and 12 assists. Far lower than the 40 to 50 points everybody was looking for. And he could go out and score 100. But what is that going to do? It's not going to reverse the trade. So what's the big deal? But like I said yesterday, the betting lines on some of these games, I think it has a clear effect on these players and how teams are coaching. And for him to go out and score 50 points, I just didn't see that happening because it affected betting line too much. And sure enough, he went out there and he got 25 points. I don't know. He got 19 points. I don't know what they were expecting him to do, but all the former players, they were just all excited about this guy scoring 50 points. I didn't expect that to happen. What I do expect to happen, they're going to play in Dallas at at the end of April, beginning of April, and that'll be his first game back in Dallas. I think he's going to try to go off in Dallas, and he'll be more accumulated or more acclimated to playing with LeBron, and they will have a different approach the next time they play against the Mavericks. But they're also going to have to deal with Anthony Davis. He should be back by then. If old Glass can find a way to put some more resin in those cracks and get out there on the floor. But you never want to trade a young player like that for somebody that has a history of injuries like Davis. Like I said, Davis is like one of those high dollar sports cars. You might pay $120,000 for it. It's great while it's running, but damn if it don't spend more time in the shop than it does on the track. So that's what Davis reminds me of, an old high dollar sports car that's got a high maintenance tag on it. And he definitely has a high maintenance on him. So I didn't think he was going to score those 50 points. I said 25. He didn't even make what I thought he was going to get. So I wasn't expecting to see a whole lot from him last night, and I didn't. But I do understand why people in sports get all excited, and it kind of makes it something to talk about. Makes it, especially the players that have been there in that situation, they want to try to make a point, but the point that you make, even if you score 1,000 points in one game, it's not going to change the outcome of the trade, even though we all might agree that they never should have traded him in the first place. So that's my take on that. But just to recap, we talked about Diana Taurasi. She's retiring, 10,646 career points in the WNBA, 3 championships, 6 gold medals, and 3 championships for UConn. So you got to give her flowers, man. All right, JC says LA got the better end of the trade because right now AD is hurt. Luka is playing good. Yeah, I agree with that. But like I just said, once AD comes back, if you can get him off the maintenance rack and give him for a good playoff run, then he might be worth it. But you still only looking for a short-term return. You're only going to get a short return with this group that you have now. They're going to have to make some more deals to make this a sustainable program. But either way, if they don't do well or get past that first round of the playoffs, I don't think Nico Harrison, he ain't going to last too long because he put it all on the line for this trade. And right now, the people in Dallas, they're not too happy. I don't know if you know it or not, but the people, they don't want to come into the arena with their signs criticizing the general manager, and they put the people out the door. So things aren't very good right now. Yeah, he's injury prone. That's what I said. He's like a $200,000 Porsche. It's great while it's running, but when you got to go take it to the shop, you're going to know something. And that's what's happening with him right now. He's not running, and he's going to end up in the shop for a while. And when he comes out, he's only going to run for a little bit. You got to put him back in the shop. So I thought, wow, you got to figure, how long should I keep this heat and go get me a cheaper car that actually runs? So that's the same question everybody else has. And you want these great cars all their life, and when they finally get it, they find out it's not what you thought it was going to be. And that's AD. He can't stay on the floor. And I never would have traded for him. I would have traded for somebody else. I would try to go get that guy Gilgeous out of Oklahoma City because he's steadily getting better. And that's the kind of person you need on the outside. You do need a big man. And I would have found somebody else to trade besides Doncic. But, who knows? But again, Justin Tucker, he's in the same situation that Deshaun Watson was in. I don't think it's going to end well for him. And it's just a matter of time once all these accusations are settled, is he's going to end up pretty much off the Ravens and go somewhere else. And Doncic last night, everybody looking for 50 or 60 points. I didn't think he was going to get anywhere near that, and he proved me correct. He did get a triple-double, though, and these are the kind of numbers you probably can expect to see from him as they make a stretch run through the playoffs. So keep an eye on that, man. But anyway, we got the NFL Combine taking place right now. Deion's son, he got two sons out there. Shador, everybody expecting him to be top three quarterback, definitely selected in the first round. But I saw a report on him, and I'm kind of agreeing with some of it. It's saying that if his dad wasn't an NFL Hall of Famer, he wouldn't be getting the same kind of exposure or looked at being one of the top picks because they don't think that he's really the type of quarterback that they want. Mainly because he don't have the escapability of, say, Cam Ward. Cam Ward is steadily getting better, and he's played himself into a position coming from no stars out of high school, working his way up all the way to a Heisman finalist. So he's showing you that he is going to steadily get better. We hadn't quite seen that from Sanders. The kid can spin that ball, but the question is, can he escape the pocket? I've seen some of those guys in the college get after him, and he couldn't quite escape from them. And that's kind of concerning when you know that teams like Philadelphia, they're coming after that quarterback, man. And if he can't get out of there, he's going to have a problem. So he's not going to throw at the combine. He's going to throw at Colorado's Pro Day. And I think they got something lined up there where they're going to bring the other brother out so he can get a chance to get some spotlight on him. As you know, Shiloh was not invited to the combine, but the kid's kind of enterprising, though. You got to give him credit. He pretty much brought the combine to him. So he's got eyes on him. He's going to get a shot, if nothing else, because of who he is, who he's related to, and he's going to have an opportunity to make a roster. Just won't be invited to the combine, and he's probably not going to get drafted. So we'll see how he does with that. Do you think the tush push should be banned? Some elements of it. Now, if you're going to line up and blow a team off the football, no, keep that. But the part when you got 3 or 4 people pushing you from behind, it's almost impossible to stop that. You can't say that if you take the player away that you would be hurting that one team because we effectively be hurting a lot of teams because everybody can do the same thing. It's just that Philadelphia was the first to do it, and they're actually pretty good at it. I think you should let the defenses play the game. You're going to let the offenses get away with that kind of stuff, and take the dress off these football players and let them play like they used to play. And then you can keep the tush push all you want. But I told you, and I keep on telling you guys, and it hadn't happened yet, they're going to keep running that tush push, and one of those frustrated defensive linemen are going to get upset. And on the bottom of the pile where you can't see what's going on, somebody's going to grab Hurts by his neck, and they're going to choke it until they unpile him. And then he's going to go back to the sideline with finger marks around his neck. Sirianni's going to ask, what happened? He's going to point to his neck. No more tush push for you. Same kind of thing happened with Patrick Mahomes. It's only so far that you can push a guy where you know he can't win before desperation kicks in. And just like those guys be fighting for the ball under the pile, scratching and clawing everything, that's going to happen to the quarterback when they keep doing this tush push thing, man. It's only natural. And I don't see no other way to stop that. All you got to do is bring in all your offensive linemen, put them in the backfield. Everybody in the world can know it's coming. But if you get that push, because you're going to get a push, the defense doesn't know the count. So they're going to have to do like Washington was doing, to keep trying to time it up and jumping over the pile. And by doing that, what you're doing is getting penalties because that can change the count up. There's nothing you can do about it. So having said all that, I think I say let the players sort it out. How about that? He keep running that quarterback sneak like that, somebody gonna grab him around his neck, and the player's gonna sort it out from that point. Right now, you see the Ravens, they do it, but they take tight end Mark Andrews and let him run it. They don't send Jackson up in there. And I think that's a good move because eventually somebody's going to get to that quarterback and do some serious damage to him. And they grabbed him right the first time, and he might not come back no more ever because don't take much to do serious damage to the human form. And I hope that doesn't happen. But if you're going to keep running that play, it's bound to happen. And I just don't know why it hasn't happened so far right now. But they're also talking about the kickoff in the NFL. They said they're going to make some changes to it. They got more returns this year, but it doesn't look very good. I mean, they try to time it up into that zone, and then I think they had one kickoff return for a touchdown. I had a couple other long ones, but they're talking about taking the kicker and pushing him back farther. So that means that would give more room for the returners to operate. But I don't know if it's safer or not to have those guys so close like that. And even though they're not going to have as a higher rate of speed as they normally would have, they still can get fast enough to cause a pretty good collision. Again, they're trying to legislate contact out of the game, and I don't think there's no way you can really do it without changing the whole texture of the game itself. So they're going to keep on tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until people are going to lose interest in it. Because as much as they like to see players running around and play, they don't want to see these 300-pound guys who normally get after the quarterback start pulling flags. And the way that they got it going now, that's what's going to happen. Football has become a flag football game. And like I said before, the goal of that is to make it co-ed. And I don't want to see that. I just don't want to see it. So that's my take on that. So just to recap, Taurasi is retiring. Give her flowers regardless of what you think about her and her opinions about these young players. She's earned it. 6 gold medals, 3 college championships, 3 WNBA championships, and all-time leading scorer in the WNBA. Luka Doncic, he's going to be a great player for the Lakers. He wasn't going to score 50 last night as much as people wanted to see it. People always get excited about what they think is coming, and then you don't hear much about it after that. But I'm telling you, I didn't think he was going to get that much. I thought he was going to get about 25, and he didn't get that. Now, I will say the next time that he plays the Mavericks, or the first time he plays them in Dallas, then he's going to try to make a point there. But at that time, they're going to be having a push for the playoffs, and it may not even be a top priority at that point. But regardless of what he does on the court, he's still not going to be able to reverse that trade. But I do think this guy, Harrison, he's on the clock. If they don't do well in the playoffs, he's not going to last very long. And kind of deserves it. He's trying to get all the pie in the sky in 1 year when you're going to just take the big fella and build around him. That's what I would have done, especially at 25 years old. And you wonder if he thinks that maybe the Mavs shouldn't pay that $345 million Supermax contract. But if he thinks that's a lot, when they come up with these new TV deals, it's going to be players out there with much bigger contracts than that. So I think he should have signed that guy and forget about AD because he's not going to be the guy for you. But if those guys all get on the court together, they can make a serious run because, like I said, Oklahoma City, they are likely to get upset. They don't seem to have enough playoff heart for a run. And you saw with Minnesota, they played them 2 days in a row, and Minnesota got them. Even when they had Minnesota down by 16 with 3 minutes left, they couldn't score a point, and they blew that game in overtime. So that's which Oklahoma City team is going to show up, the one that put the 16-point lead or the one that choked? That's the question everybody needs to answer. But I think they're going to have to step up because right now everybody thinks that Oklahoma City can be taken in the playoffs, and until they show that they're not going to be taken, that's the way everybody's going to see them. And right now, I don't see anything different. So this is why Dallas is going for this 1 year run, trying to make a championship with AD. So I don't know. But anyway, got to make a run, man. Got to get ready to go to work here. Still got a few minutes, but I got to get myself together here. This tree pollen is killing me, man. Apologize for all the sneezing and wheezing and everything else I might have, but won't stop me from talking about these sports, man. Had another baseball game last night. Not doing so well, primarily from the pitcher's mound. I talked about this before. Baseball now, just like everything else, you got to have a little bit of money. When I was a kid, we had city leagues, and we played city league for free. Then we come home, and we'd be out in the yard and had our own little sports league. So we played all the sports. These kids nowadays, they don't do that. They were specialized, and they want to play on travel teams, and the city league's pretty much gone away. Had I come through at a time where I had to pay for sports leagues, I wouldn't have been able to play. I wouldn't even ask. Not that it couldn't have been afforded, but why pay for something when you can have it for free? Only difference is you go to the game with a uniform. You're still out there playing the same way. The point is we got to play in, and we knew how to play, and we had the skills to play. But these kids nowadays that don't play, that don't have the money to play, they come to high school, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade talking about they want to play baseball, but they got no skills. Meanwhile, you competing on the varsity level against teams that players play all year long. So what chance does a team like mine has? We got to overcome a lot. There's improvement. And the good thing about it is the object of coaching is actually to take whatever you got and make it better than what you had when it started. I'm seeing that progress. But the biggest thing that I need to see improvement is getting the ball across that plate. And that's what it boils down to. Can you get it across the plate? And can you make routine plays in the outfield? Once you get that, then you'll be a whole lot more competitive. And with these new pitching rules now, you only have like 15, 20 seconds to get rid of the ball. And once you pretty much look at the plate, I'm seeing by the time the pitcher gets his knee halfway up, the guy's already halfway to second base. I mean, it's almost like a license to steal. I mean, there's no real deterrent to stop somebody from stealing. And I got to figure out how to do that. And the opportunities to pick somebody off is great if you can time it up right. But if you got a slow release, then it's going to be problematic. But I'm not discouraged because, like I say, I see some improvement where we are. And I'm going to come up with me some pictures, and it's going to be some get back. So that's just my little 30-second rant on that. But I'm excited about it. Still should win a fair amount of games this year. But I need to go get me a couple pictures. And the thing about it, when you go to these campuses, there are athletes all around. Can you get them to come out? I got a couple guys around me. Hit the ball 300-400 feet, you play all positions, but all of a sudden don't want to play for whatever reason. Okay, I'm not going to beg you to play, but when we start winning, don't come back then because you didn't go through the ups and downs with us, and you're not going to come for the good times just because you felt like you was too good to go through the rough times. I'm not interested in that. So I got a list of people just like that around here that can play and they don't want to play. So I got a long memory. But I don't want to go too deep into that. But I just want to say a few things about Taurasi. Gave her flowers. Justin Tucker, he's got a problem. And Doncic, he's going to be a great player. He still should have stayed in Dallas, but him scoring 50 points last night was out of the question. He didn't get nowhere near that. And regardless if he did, it wouldn't change anything. But Harrison is the one that should be sweating bullets, not Doncic. So that's my take on that. But I appreciate you guys chiming in with me. This has been Coach All with Sports for Real, the AM Sports Bike. I'll be back on in the morning with some more information for you. Maybe some combine news, more NBA, and we'll go from there. So if you like my style of ranting, like and subscribe, man. Maybe even share me a little bit. That would be great. And I have some more content for you as soon as I can get it. So until then, wherever y'all in the world, have a great day. This has been AM Sports Bite with Coach Hall. Till then, I got to go to work. So I'm out.